Well. Persona 5, the game that took me for a drive. The game that most definitely rocked because I was taken aback by Yusuke's cock. And when I couldn't put the game down, my wife left with a frown. As Royale makes it my game of the year, it most definitely won't get the... Dear? Fuck. So, Persona 5. When I first heard about this game, I was like, a JRPG that's also half slice of life simulator and half demon fighting? Nah. But then I opened up my third eye chakra and finally got my PS4 and downloaded Persona 5 Royal because a lazy fuck at Walmart wanted to check if they had it.
What's happening?
It's loading.
Help me! Oh yeah, by the way, fuck Walmart. But when I sat down and played it, I was blown away by how amazing it was. From its thrilling story, compelling characters, and fun gameplay. And after wasting way too much of my time,
You are a sad, strange little man.
I decided to free myself from my shackles and work towards my
Rehabilitation.
Shut up! So, here I am, talking about my surprise love for Persona 5, because... Well, that was Persona 5. Oh yeah, why not? So you might be thinking to yourself, what's the difference between Persona 5 and Persona 5 Royal? Well, it's essentially the original, but better, in which you have the core game with all the DLC from the original, upgraded or changed dialogues, showtime attacks, the Thieves' Den, a ninth palace, and an extra semester, and of course, on in the maid outfit. So aside from my sarcasm, Royal is somewhat of a deluxe edition with some fun elements added to the mix, with the main selling point being the new character, Kasumi, and the ninth palace I mentioned earlier. And some of you may think that dialogue changes are deal breakers in buying a remake of a beloved game at full price. I argued that it would if this was the context.
Sup, Miss Post-Apocalyptic Raider? So, you're totally the fist of the Phantom Star now, huh?
And the overhaul and revitalized voice lines may have felt like it should have been in the original version of the game, is what I thought at first. But then I realized something when I was talking to a friend about this, and it's that voice actors can improve over time. While the voice acting in the original Persona 5 was still very impressive, there was still room for improvement. Such is the case with Goro Akechi's actor. While Robbie Damon was already good at acting like a malicious vampire half a decade ago, he's improved so much to the point where he's the malicious vampire.
Are you telling me to die?
But the most improvement has to come from Max Middleman as Ryuji. His entire performance during Kamoshida's arc adds a lot more levity and a more serious demeanor. It really does bring out his character as a reckless hothead who serves justice with his fist. Hey, a short-tempered teenage student? That sounds like a certain Selman from a game called Fuck. And yes, I know I just made 2 Fire Emblem 3 Houses jokes in a matter of 30 seconds. However, if you saw my 3 Houses review, which I recommend you should, it took me 4 fucking months to work on, you may remember I said, and although it is a little like Persona, I'm glad Intelligent System took the risk and brought new life to the game. Because if they used the same worn-out formula from the previous games, I would have returned it by now. Which I still stand by to this day, because I'm still having fun with 3 Houses, especially with the new Ash and Wolves characters. By the way, Happy is precious baby, and if you dare say anything bad about her, I will rip out your arms and legs and feed it to your dog! And even though I gave that game an infinite out of 10, I will have to admit that both of these games can actually learn a thing or two from each other. Don't get me wrong, both are great games. However, I always believe there is room for improvement in a game, even if it changes core gameplay mechanics or small features, without abusing the developers. Naughty Dog. Which is why I'll be making some comparisons between both Persona 5/Royal and Fire Emblem 3 Houses from here on, only to criticize what could be improved for both games. Anyway, let's talk about Persona 5. Story! So the game starts off by pulling a Deadpool, where you, or in this case Joker, no not that one, is pulling off a heist at a casino in the present day. However, he gets quickly ambushed and is captured, and learns that one of his allies is a snitch. But the game won't tell you who. But I will. Snape. He gets interrogated and signs away his rights. This is where you can enter your name, or make the right choice, and then a prosecutor comes in to question you about your history as a thief. But not just any thief, a Phantom Thief. And so he remembers how he started the Phantom Thieves in the distant past, where he was arrested for doing absolutely nothing. He is then sent away on probation to a new school, new home, and essentially a new life, but with a big criminal record painted on his back. He goes to sleep on his first day, but instead of dreaming about having better parents, he wakes up at where I assume where the Jehovah's Witness keeps their victims, and he soon meets 2 girls who definitely didn't creep me the fuck out, and a man who is begging for me to make fun of. But you will know him as Eagle! He then spouts some shit about rehabilitation and tells you something along the lines of Chosen One, Fate, and the end of the world. There. 3 minutes turning to 10 seconds. He then wakes up and goes to school, but on the way, he runs into a girl who's waiting for a ride from a man whose jawline rivals the Crimson Chin's, and then you meet probably the closest anime reincarnation of my best friend. Blonde, short-tempered, and thinks he's the next Eminem. They both walk to school, but accidentally stumble upon Disneyland and get captured. They found out that the ruler of Disneyland is Mr. Jawline, but you notice there's something not right about him. What makes you think that? Well, I don't know. Maybe it's because you're in a castle. Maybe it's because he's wearing something straight out of a pervert's wet dream. Or maybe it's the fact he's trying to fucking kill you! But because you are the protagonist, you have that plot armor. And hear a voice in your head as it starts to give you powers while you look like you're being stabbed mid-orgasm, as you awaken to the power that sleeps within you. Your persona, which is basically JoJo stands. You and Ryuji escape the cell block, and eventually you run into a cat named Morgana, who, for the sake of this video, I'm just gonna call Momo. Yeah, that. He tells you that this place is not real and is only created from Mr. Jawline's view of the school, or his cognition, if you will, where he is the king and everyone else is his subjects. Both you and Ryuji get back to the real world and miss half the day because of that. They get through the day with no one in the real world knowing they were in a castle and decide to go back the next day. You meet up with Momo to discuss what's going on. Basically, this is how Mr. Jawline views the school from his distorted desires, even though he is just a coach. And as such, he sees his male players as slaves and the female players as sex objects. They get the names of the abused players, try to escape, gets captured, but what's this? Blondie has a persona? A pirate based off the well-known Captain Kidd with a cannon for a hand while surfing a boat? Sick! The three escape with the two leaving Momo behind in the castle and try to talk to the abused kids to get them to confess. Now, it's worth noting that up to this point, I was a bit confused why this game had an M rating. The most I got from this game was a couple of curse words and a bit of violence, and thought this game could have gotten away with a teen rating. But then I saw one of the volleyball girls try to kill herself and said, oh, that's why. Now that I think about it, this game is full of depressed teens. Knowing that Coach Jawline abused that student, you and Ryuji confront the real Jawline of his abuse, and he says, yeah, who cares if she game in herself? She dead weight and you two are gonna be expelled. Then they decided to go after King Jawline, as that will make him have a change of heart if they steal his treasure. They team up with Momo, go to the castle, accidentally brought the girl from earlier, known as An. She gets captured, wakes up to her persona. God, he's so lucky. Finds a cloud form of Jawline's treasure, goes back to reality, send a calling card, go back to the castle, take the treasure, fight King Jawline, which turns into what the fuck?
You goddamn urban city brats! I'll make you regret this! Useless!
What the fuck? They beat him, get the fuck out with the treasure, with the real Jawline crying like a little bitch, as he had a change of heart. And so our heroes celebrate, as you and the gang forge the Phantom Thieves, and pledge to change the hearts of corrupt individuals, with you as their leader bearing the name Joker, no not that one, and start stealing treasured hearts, along with Catwoman 2.0, Catman 1.0,
I am not a cat!
and Slim Shady. Along the way, you and your small posse grow as you recruit more members. These people include a gay artist, the physical embodiment of perfection, a preteen nerd with a very questionable persona, the most precious baby! Precious, my precious! And a student detective, played by Vampire Daddy. Sorry, Robbie, but I'm not letting that go. And exclusive to Royal, Kasumi Yoshizawa. Oh. Well, I guess you could have her sister. Gameplay stuff. There are two parts to the game. The Slice of Life Simulator, which takes place in the real world, and a turn-based RPG, which takes place in the Metaverse. Both of these you'll be spending an equal amount of time working on, and both of them will work off each other, meaning the more you do in the real world, the more you can achieve in the Metaverse. And the more you do in the Metaverse, the more you can achieve in the real world. And so on and so forth in a cycle of progression. And I'll get into how that works, but I'm going to go over them separately. Let's start with the real world. Like I said before, you start the game going to school with a criminal record. From there, you go through day-to-day life by a calendar structure, in which you can explore different towns to do various activities. Be careful though. Certain activities such as hanging out with allies, increasing status points, and entering the Metaverse will cause time to pass, and you only have enough time to do 2 things a day. Crisis really is a reality simulator. There are some activities that don't take up time, like shopping, visiting the Velvet Room, and buying drugs. Do keep this in mind as your time is limited, and that you do have deadlines to steal treasure, otherwise you will lose the game. So plan everything in advance. While going to school, you're going to need to prove your worth to your colleagues and society. You do this by leveling up 5 different social status: proficiency, guts, charm, kindness, and knowledge. Doing different activities will level up one of these stats, as it will cost time to pass. There are events where you can't get social stats while doing other things, like working, hanging out with others, or making coffee. at 8:30 at night! But there are things you can do that won't take up your time, such as reading, crossword puzzles, and getting the right answers on a classroom question. That last one you will need a Jeopardy brain in order to get the right answer, or you could do what I did in high school and look up the fucking answers. Out of these 5, knowledge is one of the stats you don't need to worry too much about, as you can gain some with the classroom answers and crosswords. If you want my opinion, I honestly recommend increasing your proficiency. Not only will it increase the number of infiltration tools you can build, but if you get it to rank 3, you can dodge a throwing chalk from Mr. Boomer and will automatically increase your charm from there on out. Make sure you don't neglect any of your social status, as you will need them to either unlock or rank up confidants, which is essentially bonds of other people. Confidants let you spend time with your friends or allies, as you get to learn and grow off of them. Almost every rank unlocks a new ability, whether it's for the real world or the metaverse, and some of them are really useful, from Yusuke 7, Ryuji 7, Futama's 10, Kasumi's 2 and 4, to pretty much all of Hifumi's. Out of everyone, only Momo, Sai, and Igor will unlock automatically as the story continues. And Sai's is fucking useless, so you will have to take time out of your busy schedule to work those ranks. And exclusive to female confidants, at rank 9 you can also date them. Aw, that's a shame. And since this is a slice of life simulator, you can date more than one, so you can live out your fantasy of baiting multiple women. Or if you want to take dates further, you can also fuck your little sister. Make sure you take the time to hang out with everyone, as most of them, but not all, will give you something useful in return. If I was to recommend someone to talk to, I would pick Dr. Maruki, who's a school psychologist in Royal. Not only is he 1 out of 3 people you need to max rank to unlock the 9th palace, the other being Akechi and Kasumi, but he also gives you detox, flow, and mindfulness, along with increasing your skill points. On top of that, he's just a really nice guy. Go talk to him, it'll be worth your time. Now that you choose your waifu to bane and your big bane to eat, it's time for you to take on the Metaverse, which is an alternate dimension where one's distorted desires take form, which are known as palaces. Each one takes on a different form depending on the ruler. From a plagiarist, a crime lord, a Jeff Bezos ripoff, oh you think I'm joking, to Senator Armstrong.
Nanomachine, son!
No, not the cool one with a personality. This one.
Don't fuck with this, Senator!
As a phantom thief, your job is simple. Find a route to their desired treasure, secure that route, send a calling card in real life so that treasure can take a physical form, infiltrate that same route to the treasure, and steal it, with you most likely ending it with a boss fight, all while getting the job done before the deadline. Or you can take on the mass majority's palace, Mentos. Mimitos? Memetos? Memes? The memes, Jack! And take on smaller targets and steal their treasure in a fuck ton of levels. However, if you stay too long on the floor, you'll be hunted down by the Reaper, a powerful enemy that can be killed, but you'll need to be at a high level to take on. Okay, this is my biggest problem with Mementos. Don't fucking tell me what to fight and not fight. This is the same problem I had with Fire Emblem 3 Houses. Don't expect to put everyone on the map and tell me not to fight them as well. I like to assert my dominance on the battlefield. If you tell me not to fight the Death Knight, I'm gonna fight the Death Knight. Maybe if you don't want me to fight the Reaper, don't tell me about him, and when he shows up and absolutely drills me, then I'll reconsider. But since you tell me this early in the game, I will take him on even if he wipes the floor with me. Learned your lesson? Fuck you.
Game!
Anyways, the Metaverse is where you'll be at when you fight in the JRPG half of the game. When you first infiltrate a palace, you will be going around either solving puzzles, swinging like a certain Marvel character, Spider-Man, or sneaking up on poor bastards. When you attack, ambush, or get ambushed, the game turns into Final Fantasy. You know, before they turn it into Kingdom Hearts. Why the fuck am I complaining? Tifa's racks are rocking. You have multiple methods of fighting, and everyone does those methods in a unique way, one of which may or may not be my fetish. Guns, 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 yeah! Yes, when you think this game couldn't get more edge. And the best part is, you don't have any ammo economy to worry about. You only get 1 mag every battle, but it replenishes every time you pick a fight. So overall, win-win. Of course, guns aren't your only options for fighting. Everyone has their basic melee attacks. And then there's personas, the main way you'll be fighting in this game. Personas are basically born in people's hearts. And since everyone has 1 heart, they have 1 persona. And mostly everyone on your team will have one of a different type. However, because Joker is special, he can hold more than 1 persona. And he could do that while negotiating with the Shadow and taking it for himself. Basically, Pokemon, but better. Each persona has its own set of moves and elements that are either weak, strong, or nullified against, can reflect, or drain. These ability types are the 2 basic ones, physical and gunfire, and the elements, such as fire, ice, wind, electricity, nuke, psychic, bless, and curse. And one that nobody's weak or strong against, Almighty, which I can only imagine acts like this.
Come! There!
Uh-oh. This is the section where I talk about other things that I like in Persona 5 that's too short to have its own section on. One of the things I noticed while I was playing Persona 5 is how well they put style over detail. Now let me clarify something that could be addressed to every game out there. I don't care about realistic looking games. I really don't. It doesn't help with gameplay. Sometimes it's not pretty to look at, and other times it gets in the way of the actual game. This is something I notice a lot with my PS4 games. While I absolutely love God of War, I don't care about how detailed Kratos' belly hair looks. I only care about taking a Draugr's head
And smash it into the fucking ground!
Persona 5 though is another story. While Atlas probably didn't care about how realistic their game looks, and you know they fucking didn't, they did however brought the world of Persona to life. With its gorgeous cities, its amazing palace designs, to its animations, both hand-drawn and computer animation, even the UI and the menu look incredibly stylized. That makes it look like it belongs in an art museum. Oh wait, the characters that move through the different menu selections, switching from a 3D moving object to a 2D still image, the different layers of art design for each menu selection, all of this is not necessary for the game, but I can really appreciate the effort put into this. This was my only but biggest problem with Fire Emblem. While the world did feel lively, the UI is extremely bland. It almost hurt my eyes. I couldn't tell the difference between the weapon menu or the items menu unless it had a different color icon. Even then, they're smaller than an ant. Of course, the game's aesthetics wouldn't have gotten to waste if it wasn't for the music. While it's not 100% my cup of tea, I would be remiss if I said it wasn't good. And unlike Bethesda games, it just works. From the rhythm of the beat in combat, to the upbeat music played in the city, it all feels like the music is a part of the game's identity. To the point where if you fucked up and sold out your friends, get shot, and spend the rest of your subconscious in a prison, the music will politely remind you, "Hey, you done fucked up! You done fucked up! Holy shit, you done fucked up! Holy fucking shithead, you done fucked up! You done fucked up big time! Are you that fucking stupid? You done fucked up! Holy shit, you done fucked up! What the hell were you thinking? You had the best life baiting Makoto, and you had to sell her out to her sister? You done fucked up! You done fucked up, you dumb Holy shit, you done fucked up! But the music is one of my highlights of the game. That no matter where you are in the game, you will have at least one song stuck in your head. In a good way, not the Despacito method. The first time you send Kamoshida's calling card and the instrumental version of Life Will Change kicks in, it gets your blood pumping after spending hours setting up your first heist, and you are now pulling off with style. It's so good that I have a separate save file just for this reason alone. However, if I was to improve the music in any way, I would change it to whenever you're sneaking around to this. And I saved the best for last, the characters. And they are great. Everyone is extremely likable and stands out in their own unique way. Not a single one of them is annoying to listen to, and almost all of them never get on my nerves, both the main characters and the supporting characters. Unless it's Momo trying to tell me to go to sleep like the fucking bitch he is!
Hey, listen!
That, and along with some amazing voice acting and a reworked script, this game really makes their characters shine. Even the small chats and mementos always seems to put a smile on my miserable face.
People always give me the strangest looks when I buy just a single apple for lunch.
I wonder why, Akechi. I wonder fucking why. If I had to pick a favorite character, it would be a really hard choice. On the one hand, I really like Ryuji. He's an absolute blast to hang out with. He's one of the more fleshed out characters. And again, he reminds me of a certain someone that always picks fights and skips out on my lectures. Caspar!
I'm sorry, what?
That, and I don't know why, but I kind of have a soft spot for lovable dorky idiots. But I can't go 20 seconds without feeling like I have to strangle him because he keeps on yelling, "Hey everyone, did you know that we're the Phantom Thieves?" However, if someone was to beat him for the #1 spot as my favorite, I have to say Makoto takes it by a long shot. Which is surprising, because when I was first introduced to her, I fucking hated her guts. And at one point of the game, I was tempted to make this her theme song.
Shut the fuck up. You're a fucking Shut the fuck up. You're a stupid
But as time goes on and the more is known about her, the more she grows on me. and the more she grows as a character, especially as you get a sense from her of what it means to truly be alone, as she lost both her parents at a young age, and her sister is absent both emotionally and physically due to her job. Added with her naive view of life, and you get a girl who has no friends and who is labeled as a stuck-up principal's pet, but still wants to help those in need as she is the student president, even though she gets nowhere in that regard. But by joining the Phantom Thieves, not only does her view of the world open up, but she is also able to help those in need and find a place where she truly belongs. She kinda reminds me of Weiss Shini, with a character redemption arc that easily surpasses Bakugo's. Yeah, I said it! That and her persona. Oh, baby. I also really like Hifumi, mainly because she reminds me of myself whenever I play Risk. Let me tell you, I beat the shit out of my siblings. I was that good. Metaphorically, not physically. Please don't call CPS. Overall, Persona 5 is a really incredible game that I have almost no complaints about. Although there are a few issues I do have with the game, but all of them are so small I can easily overlook those problems because the game is that good. I mean, how can you stay mad at those problems when you can run around as a mouse? However, there is one problem that does stick out like a sore thumb. Near the beginning of the game, it starts slapping me towards the final battle, and it's so easy to identify that you can actually see it on the front cover. And I'll let you guess what that is. Yep, Arsene, or your persona. The reason why he's my biggest problem with the game is how utterly useless he is, as he is one of the weakest personas in the game, given the fact that he's your first persona and shows up in later parts of the game. This very much pisses me off because visually, he's one of the best looking personas in the game, which is really saying something. And just like the rest of the Phantom Thieves, you go through physical and emotional pain as the persona seals a contract, only to be met by a badass looking persona. Besides the Kajis who just looks like a zebra got a hold of a sword. I mean, hell, Makoto's is a motorcycle named after a cross-dressing pope that shoots radiation fire and eventually evolves into a transformer. Compared to Arsene, he comes to you in one of the most gorgeous cutscenes in the game, with you standing right in front of him. And what do you do once you get him? Offer him up to the fucking chopping block. And what do you get in return? Compare this to Byleth. Not only are they unique compared to the other characters, be it story or gameplay, but they're also special because they can use the most powerful weapon in the game, can raise everyone's resistance, has access to a class that can give them the ability to use every weapon, including Brawl and Magic, and bears the most powerful crest in the game that only Byleth and Edelgard have. And yes, some die-hard Persona fans will be like, but Joker's unique because he can use any Persona in the game. Yeah. But after what happened to my Arsene, I don't feel obligated to use any of them, because I'm only obligated to pick up Messiah Picaro, who's only $2.99 or free if you have Royal, and blast my way through the game. That's what I did. Like, why not just have them in a locked spot and build them in a special way that's different than building other personas? Like have his stats or abilities tied to your dialogue choices or social status, or get special items so you can change what element he's resistant against. It's not like he leaves you, because he shows up again in Nijima's palace and says, "Hey, remember when you chopped me up? Yeah, fuck you, here's my palace." Wow, Arsene, that's really nice of you.
Psych! Piss off!
I'm not joking, he doesn't show up in your party. And he shows up again in the final battle, only to evolve into Satan before he fell from grace to shoot God in the fucking face. Wait a minute, Grace? Face? It rhymes! It just annoys me that the persona that represents your heart is reduced to nothing more than an ingredient, like pepper, or curry, or Sonic in his own movie. In conclusion, for being a remake of an almost 4-year-old game, it is still very much fun. It has its charm, and it still has a ton of replay value. This is one of the PlayStation exclusives that make it stand out in an actually fun way. Final score for Persona 5/Royal? 11 out of 10. Why the extra one? Also, you know Persona 5 won't be ported to the Switch, because when Atlas says to keep fighting, or keep telling us what you want, they just want more publicity for the game. If anything, Joker in Smash is the closest thing we're gonna get to Persona on Switch. He's got a beaver tail and a bill. That and there's PS Vita Easter eggs throughout the game, so